Staying up with the trend in professional development and coaching is a challenge. Sometimes coaches struggle to bridge the gap between research and classroom practice, right? Especially when some of the training is not available to coaches, but really being able to dive deep and understand what are the resources out there and how do we get the latest teaching strategies to deliver to our teachers, that's key. Coaching is a lonely profession. Thinking about the professional development landscape and even looking at our preparation and challenges and what are the options that we have available. Of course, there's universities, but there's also ongoing training. And do you become a coach from IC, right? How do you get certified? All that comes into fruition when it talks about what do you need to do to get prepared. And then thinking about the responsibilities. They're not just one off. We're not just supporting the teachers. Many times we're coaching the principals, we're coaching the teachers, we're even coaching the staff on what are some strategies that they can use to have best supports for our students. Being able to support content as well as evidence-based strategies as well as diverse practices, that's a lot to have on your plate, and that's a lot for you to learn. Last but not least, always looking for professional development and skill development to develop your skills and to practice adult learning. When thinking about coaching, we have to think about what are our professional development frameworks that are out there. Now it's Diane Sweeney, so we have a lot of our coaching cycles. We have so many people that we can choose from, but really identifying what for your district is what you're choosing, right? But understand that we have our structured programs and they are constantly being facilitated where we're doing small groups, lesson planning, identifying what are our practical coaching methodologies that we implement in our school, and then how are we mirroring the effective teacher development. So not only are we understanding where they are, but where they need to go, and everybody's on an individual path, as well as our inquiry action reflective cycle. Thinking about what are we doing to ask the critical questions, to analyze data, to implement the strategies that we see, and to take assessment data and infuse that in everything you're delivering to your teachers. So we're thinking about building our collaborative professional network. We too have PLCs. So who do you have in your collective network to where you can consistently, regularly talk about some of the strengths and the implementation that's going on in your professional learning? What are our mentorship relationships that we have built with other coaches or across the district? What are our conferences that we can go to? Either we paid out of pocket and we're getting reimbursed. And then who are our peers to where we collaborate with openness like, hey, this is what's really going on in my school. What are you doing to solve some of the current issues that I'm having, as well as how can I help you at your school? Being able to leverage data is crucial because if you can prove, of course, why you're going to the professional development or why you're targeting a specific skill or why all teachers need to learn this and this PD needs to be on this skill, you need to have data, right? So thinking about what is your targeted improvement based on data, what are you doing with data analysis, how are you identifying patterns and areas for growth so you can advocate for yourself and things that you need to focus on. So, and what is your data collection from students, from teachers, and from your observations? I don't know about you, but I hope you are embracing your digital tools for professional learning and you are using research, right? How are you analyzing research? What are the current research trends that's out there? What are you using as a digital platform, right? We should not be using Google Docs, Google spreadsheets to analyze our data. Thinking of how your school can invest in your systems, really thinking you want to stay current and your school and district wants you to stay current, but many times you have to advocate for what you need. Consider virtual coaching. That's what we do at EI 360, and we really look at how can we best support everybody, right? Giving everybody a hand at efficacy. We want to make sure everybody gets touch points. We're analyzing everyone's data, and then we can service everybody. And thinking of online communities, what does it mean to have asynchronous learning? What are our digital learning communities? What are our spaces for learning in the cloud? Now, this is my favorite. We're talking about what are our emerging trends 2025. Things are changing really quickly. So what are you doing with AI? How are you incorporating AI into your practices, into your coaching? How are you showing teachers best practices, how to do things faster, real-time coaching and personalized feedback? One of the things we were able to do was stream a classroom, and I was able to give her immediate feedback, not even 24 hours. It was something like 2 to 3 hours after the lesson, thinking about what are our AR scenarios that we can put our teachers in to say, hey, what would you do in this scenario, right? Thinking of what are the case studies that relate to what's happening in our current spaces, and then what are the micro learning approaches that we can do? How do we deliver small chunks of content for our teachers in the andragogy style and model what it looks like in the classroom? Okay, implementing new knowledge is key. Really thinking about what is the learning, how are we acquiring new strategies and practicing it in the classroom, and what are our different approaches? What does it look like to celebrate the wins when it is done right or when it works, right? How do we share that great news that's happening? What does the application look like? And how are we marking the application for the whole school to see? What is the reflection, the evaluation of self to identify, hey, in this video I noticed I did this, or just reflection in writing? And how do we refine, right? Oh, that didn't go well, let's fix it, right? We fix it fast. We're always trying new things. And what are you doing to ensure that we celebrate our small wins? I always say you have to start this at the beginning. What is your sustainable professional growth plan, right? What are you doing as a self-assessment? And how are you tracking your growth throughout time? What are your goals? Because we have individual goals. Yes, we're working to meet the district goals. Yes, we're working to meet our principal goals. Yes, especially if you have multiple principals, multiple APs, multiple districts, multiple people that are supporting you, you have different goals. But what is your individual goal? What is your resource identification? How are you identifying what access do you have to materials, and do you have extra materials to provide for your teachers? And then how are you implementing things and then reviewing the strategy to see did it work? What are your checkpoints to review and assess? Okay, I'm all about that takeaway. What are you doing to take away? What are you going to do now? How are you going to implement these things right now? At least one thing, right? What are you doing to structure your PD? Thinking about engaging programs. How do you engage your teachers? What are the methodologies? What are some new methodologies you can pick up or learn today? How are you reaching out to other coaches? What groups? You could be in a Facebook group, whatever it takes to kind of have conversations with other people. What are you doing to analyze your data? What multiple data sources are you going to use for the entire year? And then your emergent trends. So we know AI is happening. What are you doing to stay current with the technology? Because you know AI is going to shape the future. If you want to know more about this subject, definitely get on my call, get on my email, and connect with me. I hope you guys enjoy. Talk to you later. Bye.